You were not placed in this world to be carried through it. You were placed here to stand. And yet, there will come moments when no hand reaches out, no voice answers, and no crowd bears witness to your struggle. In those moments, you will learn a truth few accept. The hardest battles are not fought in public, but within the silent chambers of your own mind. Do not curse these trials. They arrive not to break you, but to reveal what cannot be broken. When fear rises and no one comes to save you, when loss weighs heavy and comfort is absent, when doubt whispers and encouragement is nowhere to be found, this is the proving ground of the soul. What you endure alone becomes the foundation of your strength. The world may admire confidence, but it is solitude that builds it. The world may praise resilience, but it is suffering that teaches it. You will be tempted to seek escape, to wait for rescue, to blame fate. Resist this impulse. What stands before you is not an obstacle, but an invitation to master yourself. Stand firm. Accept what is yours to face. Carry it with discipline and calm. For the one who learns to remain steady, when no one is watching, becomes unshakable. When the world begins to tremble, strength is not something granted by praise, recognition, or the comfort of being surrounded by others. It is forged in moments when no one is there to witness your effort, your restraint, or your pain. Solitude strips life down to its essentials. When there is no applause to motivate you and no audience to impress, you are left only with yourself, your thoughts, your fears, your discipline, and your choices. In this quiet space, excuses lose their power. There is no one to blame, no one to impress, and no one to lean on. What remains is truth. It is easy to appear strong when supported by encouragement. It is easy to endure when comfort is near. But real strength is revealed when you continue forward without reassurance. When you hold your ground without validation, and when you choose what is right even though no one would know if you chose otherwise. Solitude tests character in a way no crowd ever could. It asks whether your values are real or merely borrowed from the approval of others. In loneliness, the mind becomes louder. Doubts rise uninvited, fears repeat themselves, and weakness attempts to negotiate. This is where strength begins its work. Not by silencing these voices, but by refusing to obey them. You learn to observe your thoughts without becoming their servant. You learn patience when impatience would be easier. You learn restraint when reaction feels natural. These are victories that go unnoticed by the world, yet they shape you more deeply than any public triumph. Solitude also teaches responsibility. When no one is watching, discipline either exists or it does not. You either rise when it is difficult, or you remain where comfort keeps you. There is no illusion here. Every action taken in solitude is honest. Every failure is yours. Every improvement is earned. This honesty is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. A person who can face themselves without distraction becomes difficult to deceive, difficult to control, and difficult to break. Do not fear the moments when you walk alone. They are not signs of abandonment, but invitations to grow. Solitude removes the noise so that reason may speak clearly. It strengthens the will by demanding consistency rather than intensity. Over time, you begin to rely less on external reassurance and more on inner stability. You stop needing the world to confirm your worth. You become steady, measured, and grounded. Not because life became easier, but because you learned to carry its weight without being seen. The most important battles of life do not announce themselves. They arrive quietly, without spectacle, and often without witnesses. While the world measures struggle by visible effort and public conflict, the true trials take place where no one else can enter. These battles are fought in thought, in restraint, in the space between impulse and action. Others may see the outcome of these struggles, but they will never see the war that shaped it. Each day the mind presents challenges that cannot be handed to another. Fear arises without permission. Anger seeks expression. Desire demands satisfaction. Doubt questions every step forward. No ally can stand in for you in these moments. Advice may be offered, comfort may be given, but the decision remains yours alone. To act with clarity when confusion presses in is a solitary task. To remain calm when provocation burns is a private discipline. These victories leave no scars on the body, yet they leave permanent marks on character. There is a quiet weight in carrying thoughts that cannot be spoken. Regret over past choices, grief that cannot be shared fully, and uncertainty about the future all exist within the self. The world continues moving unaware of the storm inside you. It is here that endurance becomes meaningful. Not the endurance of noise and chaos, but the endurance of silence. To live well is to learn how to sit with discomfort, without allowing it to rule you. These internal battles demand honesty. You cannot lie to yourself for long without consequence. When weakness appears, it must be acknowledged before it can be mastered. When failure occurs, it must be accepted without self-destruction. This confrontation with the self is demanding, but it is necessary. A person who avoids this struggle may appear composed, but remains fragile beneath the surface. Strength is not the absence of struggle, but the willingness to face it without distraction or denial. No reward is given immediately for winning these inner battles. There is no applause for resisting temptation, no recognition for choosing patience, no praise for enduring uncertainty with dignity. Yet each quiet victory reinforces the mind. Over time, you become less reactive, less dependent on circumstance, and less shaken by events beyond your control. You begin to understand that peace is not something found outside yourself, but something cultivated through repeated acts of inner discipline, practiced alone, unseen, and uncelebrated. Pain, doubt, and loss do not arrive in life as punishments, though they often feel that way in the moment. They come without asking permission, disrupting plans, shaking confidence, and exposing parts of us we would rather keep hidden. The instinct is to resist them, to view them as enemies to be avoided or defeated. Yet these experiences are not obstacles placed to destroy you, but forces that reveal what lies beneath your comfort. They show you where you are fragile, where you are attached, and where your understanding of strength has been incomplete. Pain teaches attention. When something hurts, it demands that you stop ignoring what matters. It strips away distraction and forces presence. In moments of pain, the mind becomes sharp, aware of every thought and reaction. This awareness can harden you if you fight it, or it can refine you if you accept it. By staying present with pain rather than fleeing from it, you learn how much you can endure, and how much of your suffering comes not from the event itself, but from your resistance to it. Doubt serves a similar purpose. It unsettles certainty and challenges the stories you tell yourself. While confidence built on praise is fragile, confidence tested by doubt becomes grounded. Doubt asks whether your path is chosen consciously or followed out of habit. It exposes blind spots and weak foundations. If you respond with reflection instead of panic, doubt becomes a tool for clarity. It forces you to examine motives, strengthen reasoning, and act with intention rather than impulse. Loss reshapes identity. When something or someone is taken away, you are confronted with impermanence. What you relied on is no longer there, and what remains must be enough. Loss teaches detachment not as indifference, but as understanding. You begin to see that nothing external was ever truly owned, only experienced for a time. This realization is painful, yet it frees the mind from clinging and prepares it to appreciate without dependence. Together, pain, doubt, and loss educate the soul in ways comfort never could. They do not offer gentle lessons, but honest ones. Each encounter with them refines judgment, deepens humility, and strengthens inner stability. What emerges from these experiences is not bitterness, but resilience shaped by understanding. You learn to carry hardship without becoming it, to endure uncertainty without losing direction, and to move forward while accepting what cannot be changed. No one can step inside your mind and make your decisions for you. Advice can be offered, guidance can be shared, and examples can be observed. But the inner path each person walks remains solitary. Every choice that shapes your character is made in private, long before it becomes visible to others. When the moment arrives to act with courage, restraint, or integrity, it is you alone who must carry the weight of that decision. There are moments when the desire to be understood becomes heavy. You may explain your intentions, justify your actions, or hope that others will recognize your effort, yet understanding is never guaranteed. Even those closest to you see only fragments of your inner world. To wait for complete validation is to surrender your agency. Growth begins when you accept that being misunderstood is not a failure, but a natural condition of living truthfully. Walking your inner path requires trust in your own reasoning. This trust is not blind confidence, but disciplined judgment built through reflection. Each time you pause before reacting, each time you choose principle over impulse, you strengthen this trust. Over time, you become less dependent on external approval. You learn to stand by decisions not because they are popular, but because they are considered and necessary. This solitude also demands accountability. When things go wrong, there is no crowd to absorb responsibility. Mistakes cannot be hidden behind excuses or shared blame. This honesty is uncomfortable, but it sharpens character. By owning your choices fully, you gain the power to correct them. Responsibility becomes a source of strength rather than burden, because it places control back where it belongs. There is a quiet dignity in accepting that no one else can walk this path for you. It removes resentment and replaces it with clarity. You stop expecting rescue and begin cultivating self-reliance. This does not mean rejecting connection, but understanding its limits. Others may walk beside you for a time, but the direction must be chosen alone. As you grow accustomed to this solitude, fear begins to lose its grip. Decisions become calmer, less rushed by opinion or pressure. You move with purpose rather than hesitation. The inner path does not promise ease, but it offers coherence. Thought aligns with action. Intention aligns with behavior. In learning to walk alone within yourself, you become grounded, steady, and capable of facing uncertainty without needing someone else to carry you through it. Endurance is not loud. It does not announce itself or demand recognition. It is built slowly, through repeated moments where the soul chooses steadiness over collapse. While strength of the body can be measured by visible effort, endurance of the inner life is proven in how one remains composed under prolonged pressure. It is not about resisting once, but about remaining consistent when strain becomes familiar and relief is uncertain. The soul is tested not by sudden chaos alone, but by the quiet persistence of difficulty. Long stretches of uncertainty, unrecognized effort, and unresolved hardship wear on the spirit. In these conditions, endurance is shaped. You learn how to hold discomfort without becoming restless, how to carry disappointment without surrendering direction. Each moment of restraint adds weight to character, even when no immediate change is seen. Endurance requires a different understanding of time. Instead of waiting for hardship to pass, you learn to live well within it. This does not mean embracing suffering, but refusing to let it distort judgment. When frustration arises, endurance responds with patience. When anger seeks release, endurance chooses control. When exhaustion whispers escape, endurance steadies the mind and continues forward with measured steps. This steadiness transforms how challenges are perceived. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, not because circumstances shrink, but because the inner structure has strengthened. The soul becomes less reactive, less shaken by delay or resistance. You begin to trust your capacity to remain intact under strain. This trust does not come from optimism, but from experience earned through persistence. Endurance also reshapes identity. You stop defining yourself by outcomes and begin defining yourself by conduct. Success and failure lose some of their power, replaced by attention to effort and intention. This shift frees you from the emotional extremes that weaken resolve. You remain balanced, neither inflated by praise nor diminished by setback. Over time, this quiet endurance becomes a form of protection. External events lose their ability to destabilize you completely. You still feel loss, pressure, and fatigue, but they no longer dictate your response. The soul develops a calm center, one that remains present regardless of circumstance. From this center arises an unbreakable quality, not born of hardness but of flexibility grounded in discipline. It is the result of enduring not once, but continually with reason, restraint, and unwavering attention to what lies within your control.